Welcome back to this series all about lessons that I've learned in the first half of this year. I have learned to really be in conversation with myself and to question my thoughts. Are they true? Are they false? Are they relevant? Are they loud? Are they quiet? And some of the more negative things, so those moments where I feel really anxious and I catastrophize everything and I go, what if, and suddenly I've entered a completely different planet. Or I go into self-doubt. That's another familiar voice. Maybe that's all the rejections over the years as an actor, even though I've worked a lot as an actor, that rejection, it must go somewhere. Whenever I have experienced that, and I have a lot, firstly, I question it. And I will say, is this relevant in this moment to be considered? Or is this just an old pattern and behavior? And that has been life-changing. Because sometimes when we do something new or we step outside our comfort zone or we be brave, our brain gathers all the information of what's happened previously. And it's like, okay, here's the evidence. Here it is. Here's why she shouldn't do it. Stop. Pause. That's what can happen. And so first and foremost, I've learned how to check in of whether that's relevant or whether that's just an old pattern. And then the second thing is I make that why and that move forward even stronger. So something that I will do often, and maybe because I'm perimenopausal as well, but I wake up in the night. And that's terrible for me at certain points of the night because I just spiral. I go round and round and round and feel really anxious in my head. And what I have learned to do, and I haven't mastered it fully, I still get these thoughts, but I'm quicker at spotting them, is instead of doing that, I visualize one of my dreams. I pause that, but what if, because sometimes it's not even relevant. Sometimes it's not even in connection with what's happening. Sometimes it's so old. Sometimes it's like something from my past. I will then change and say, I'm just going to close the door on that for a moment. And instead, whilst I'm awake, because I may as well, I'm going to visualize something that I'm working on. And there are goals. Sometimes I think about, taking my kids on holiday somewhere. And I'm like, oh, where would we go? What would we do? And suddenly it breaks that cycle. Suddenly it puts me into expansion rather than retraction.